What's up, everyone? Today I wanted to talk about this concept. I don't know if it's an original idea. I didn't get this idea from anyone else. But I also don't know that if me having this idea, if it's already out there in this world, because I haven't done the research to looking into it. But basically the idea is waves of anxiety, making the metaphorical analogy, making the symbolic relationship of anxiety to waves in an ocean. And I'd like to say that maybe they're one and the same. Maybe the ocean with their waves of ocean, is showing us that this is how we should handle anxiety. So what exactly is anxiety? It's fear. Anxiety is fear. It's this feeling of like pins and needles in our like heart and breathing, and it's like this overexcited feeling of like pent up energy. And why do we have that energy? Well, if I'm going my day-to-day life, and let's say I have agoraphobia, which is like fear of like being out in public places, and I get anxiety in my house thinking about it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go out into this like public space and I'm gonna get like stabbed, or like someone's gonna jump me, kind of thing. And it's like, okay, how can I get through that? And again, going back to the analogy of like this waves of the ocean, is like with each wave that's coming through, that's symbolic to anxiety. So I'm sitting in my house, right? And I'm getting anxiety because I'm having a fear of going outside into the public space. So that initial anxiety could be a little wave. And we could go one step further and imagine that you are a surfer in the ocean riding those waves, and someone who is not an experienced surfer sees that first wave and they're like, whoa, like I'm fearful. And that surfer is going to have anxiety. Same reason why like you sitting in your house with agoraphobia might have anxiety, is like you aren't equipped with the tool set to be able to handle the reality that is going to happen in the future. Same with the surfer that isn't experienced. If they're just starting out and they're just like seeing that first initial wave, they're going to have that fear because they haven't practiced, they haven't been experienced enough to handle that intensity. And then that anxiety kicks in, and then it's like, okay, they get through that first wave and they're like, oh yes, I got it, and I'm getting good. And then a week goes by and that surfer is just like killing it, like they're able to ride any wave in that in that like area of surfing, and they've practiced it and they're gotten a little bit good and they're feeling a little bit more confident. And then that next week arrives and more waves come. And instead of feeling anxiety, they're feeling excited because they're like, I am confident, I am well equipped to go out into this world and experience the intensities of what's to come. And instead of having anxiety when they initially started, they're feeling that feeling of excitement and like readiness, preparedness. And it becomes this like this thrill for them, and then they continue wanting to put themselves out there and ride those waves. And then the same thing with agoraphobia, like the small little exposure to the public will help decrease their anxiety, because then they're practicing the tool sets that they need to get through that anxiety, that fear, so then they can feel prepared. And maybe after a while they like move to this situation where they're like going to the farthest extent of like wanting to do public speeches, because they've gotten good at like handling what it's like to be out in the public and mastered the skills to be able to handle that. Again, it's just experience and like practicing your consciousness to be able to take in these perceptions of the experience to then make decisions and mold your behavior around it. And someone who maybe did get stabbed and has agoraphobia, they've just like lost all of those that confidence and skill set to be able to handle it. And so it takes time to heal, to practice. And we're impatient, I think, as humans. And it's like we're not giving us the time that we need to be able to get good at things. It takes a while. It could take, like they say, to be a master of something, you have to work at it. You have to practice it for 10,000 hours. And like if someone does have agoraphobia, they're just like, I want to snap my fingers. I wish I was good at being able to handle the public space. And I mean, part of that's like maybe their personality lends itself to shyness or introversion too. So it's like knowing your strengths and weaknesses, being self-aware, but also at the same time not limiting yourself in this box of anxiety, of fears, because we are capable as humans. We are capable of doing amazing things, and sometimes we don't even realize how much we can handle until we put ourselves out there. Just like that beginner surfer, like maybe that's their calling and they never realized it, and then they just like randomly stopped one day and they're like, this isn't for me. But little did they know that they were supposed to be, maybe, I don't know, maybe they were supposed to be a professional surfer, and maybe they're actually good at it, but they just stopped too early because they were impatient. Who knows? No one ever knows. But this concept of anxiety being waves in an ocean is very, I think it can be helpful because it helps us visualize what exactly anxiety is and what's causing it. And just having that visualization might help some people to realize that there is this sense of practicality in being able to conquer it. Just like how a surfer, again, to reiterate, just like how a surfer is able to conquer that wave, to ride it out and not let that wave thrash them over and destroy them and keep them off balance. They're able to flow with that wave, with that anxiety, and ride it out and handle it. And like the more experienced surfers, the more experience you have as a surfer, the bigger waves that you can handle. Just the same as with anxiety, like the bigger, more intensified feelings of anxiety come, and the more you practice being able to handle it, the more anxieties you can handle, and then the stronger of a human being maybe you can become. And that could be different than maybe the modern medicine idea of mental health, which is where we like give you medications. But instead, we're trying to empower people, showing them that there is a way to conquer this, and that here's a visualization to actually see the progress. And yeah, that's essentially it. And I hope that helped. So everyone have a good day. And yeah, hope everyone has a good day. Peace.